The story begins in the cold, vast reaches of space where the Galactic Empire, an advanced alien empire, has set its sights on Earth's distant colonies. The Empire is a mighty force, known across the galaxy for its overwhelming power and technological superiority. Their ships are massive, equipped with weapons capable of annihilating entire worlds. Their soldiers are genetically enhanced, trained in ruthless combat. To them, the human race is nothing more than a primitive species, weak and insignificant in the grand scale of the universe. At the heart of this unstoppable force is Admiral Zoreth, the brilliant and cold-hearted commander of the Empire's war fleet. Zoreth is confident in his victory. The humans, after all, have no defense against the Empire's advanced technology. He dismisses Earth's defenses as outdated, underestimating their ability to fight back. But as Zoreth prepares for the final assault on a small human colony on the outskirts of the galaxy, something strange happens. An unexpected transmission from Earth reaches his command ship. The message is cryptic, filled with static and odd symbols that scramble across the screens. The words are broken, but there is one part that stands out, hidden in the shadows of the stars. Zoreth's eyes narrow as he watches the transmission flicker across his screen. What could this mean? Who is sending this message? The signal is weak, but it carries an unsettling tone. Zoreth orders his officers to analyze the message, but they come up with nothing, no trace of where the transmission came from, no explanation for the cryptic words. The only thing they know for sure is that it came from Earth. Zoreth laughs it off. Humans are clever, he muses. But they are no match for the might of the Empire. He dismisses the warning, thinking it nothing more than a last-ditch effort by the humans to intimidate him. After all, why would anyone believe such a weak species could be hiding something dangerous? Prepare for the final assault, Zoreth commands. The humans will be crushed beneath our boots. The scene shifts to Earth, where Lieutenant Bonner, a young human soldier, stands on the front lines of a desperate battle. Bonner is filled with a mix of fear and hope. He knows the odds are against them, but he also knows that humanity will not go down without a fight. His thoughts are consumed by memories of his fallen comrades, soldiers who gave everything to protect their colonies. They believed in humanity's strength, even when the galaxy mocked them. Bonner had joined the military not for glory, but out of a deep sense of duty. His family had lost everything in the early years of the war against the Galactic Empire. His parents, his brother, gone, all wiped out by the Empire's unrelenting attacks. That loss had driven him to enlist. To him, this war wasn't just about survival, it was personal. And the stakes had never been higher. As Bonner watches the sky above, his heart races. The Empire's fleet is approaching, huge warships that blot out the sun. These ships are as large as cities, their weapons capable of laying waste to entire populations. The enemy is close now, just hours away. Earth's defenses are in place, but everyone knows it's a matter of time before the Empire crushes them. The humans have nothing that can compare to the power of the Empire's fleet. Bonner's mind races. How can they win? How can they fight against an enemy this powerful? But as the Empire's fleet draws closer, something strange happens. A low hum fills the air, an energy pulse that seems to come from deep within Earth itself. Bonner looks around in confusion. Could it be the signal that Zoreth had dismissed? What if it wasn't a threat? What if it was a message, a warning, something hidden on Earth, waiting to be revealed? His thoughts are interrupted by the sound of the command siren blaring. The enemy is on the move. The battle is about to begin. As Bonner gathers his squad and prepares for battle, his mind drifts back to the people he has lost. His best friend, Serena, a fellow soldier, had been with him since the beginning of the war. They fought side by side, sharing the same hopes and dreams for a future free from the Empire's tyranny. But that dream had been shattered in the first wave of attacks, when Serena was gravely injured in a raid. Bonner had held her as she bled out, promising her he would make sure humanity survived, no matter the cost. That promise had never left his mind. It was the fuel that kept him fighting. And now, as the Empire's ships moved closer to Earth, Bonner knew he had to keep that promise, even if it meant sacrificing his own life. There was a fire in his heart, fueled by the memory of Serena's sacrifice, and the faces of countless others who had died at the hands of the Empire. Bonner felt the weight of responsibility. It wasn't just about fighting for Earth's survival anymore, it was about revenge. The Empire had taken everything from him. But they hadn't taken his will to fight. They hadn't taken his hope. And as long as he had that, the fight wasn't over. Back aboard Admiral Zoratha's flagship, the fleet is ready for action. Zorath stands on the command deck, watching as his massive fleet moves into position. The Empire has planned this strike for months. The final blow against humanity's last stand would be delivered swiftly. Zoratha's forces will bombard Earth's defenses from orbit, laying waste to the last of the human colonies. The end of the war is within his grasp. Suddenly, a technician on Zoratha's ship calls out. "Admiral, we're receiving another transmission, from Earth." The room goes silent. Zorath raises an eyebrow. The humans are sending another signal. What is this? He orders the signal to be played. The cryptic message flashes across the screen again, only now, it's clearer. The words are still strange, but there is a sense of urgency in the voice. "It's not over, hidden in the stars, we've been waiting." Zorath orders a full analysis. But as the message repeats, something clicks inside his mind. The humans weren't bluffing. There is something hidden on Earth. Zorath clenches his fists. He should have listened to the warning. This wasn't just a desperate attempt to scare them, it was a challenge. Suspense builds to its peak. Zorath turns to his officers, his voice cold and steely. "Prepare for immediate deployment. We're going to make sure this ends now. We can't afford any more surprises." As Zoratha's fleet advances, Bonner's squadron makes its final preparations. They have no idea what the message means or where it's coming from, but they know one thing: something big is coming. They can feel it in the air, the tension, the hum of energy beneath the surface. Earth is about to reveal its hidden secret. But will it be enough to save them? Bonner looks to the horizon, his heart heavy with the weight of the battle ahead. He knows the Empire is ruthless. He knows the stakes. But for the first time in a long while, he feels something else, a spark of hope. He can't explain it, but deep inside, he believes that Earth's ancient past may be their salvation. The moment of truth is coming. On the surface of the moon, far from the bustling cities of Earth, a secret base lies buried beneath the lunar dust. This base, known only to the highest-ranking officials in the military, has been the site of countless experiments, research projects, and classified operations. It is here, deep beneath the rocky surface, that Earth's best scientists and military leaders have discovered something that could change the fate of the war against the Galactic Empire. In a massive underground hangar, the scientists have just uncovered what they had only heard of in old legends: an ancient fleet, built by humanity during its early days of exploration and expansion into the stars. These ships were once part of humanity's bold venture to conquer distant worlds, long before Earth became a target for the Empire. But the fleet was hidden away, buried beneath layers of rock and time. For centuries, no one knew of its existence. The advanced technology and vast power of the fleet had been lost, forgotten in history as humanity turned its focus inward after the Empire's first attacks. Now, the long-forgotten armada is stirring back to life, its ancient engines starting to hum once again. The crew working at the base is stunned as they watch the massive warships come to life. The hangar is filled with the sound of shifting metal as the ships begin to rise from their resting places. Their engines, dormant for eons, roar with a new energy as they awaken, powered by the cutting-edge technology of humanity's past. As the fleet begins to rise, the scale of the ships becomes apparent. These are not the sleek, fast warships of modern space fleets. These are massive, awe-inspiring vessels, each one the size of a city, with weapons capable of leveling entire planets. The ships were built during a time when humanity thought itself untouchable, capable of conquering entire star systems. They were abandoned when the Empire's forces overwhelmed humanity, leaving these relics of the past to lie in silence beneath the moon's surface. Now, they are awake. Captain Eric Stone, the leader chosen to command the fleet, stands on the command deck of one of the flagship vessels. He watches as the ships slowly rise into the air, their massive forms breaking through the surface of the moon's crust. The ancient hulls glow faintly with power, their technology centuries ahead of what humanity currently possesses. It is a sight unlike anything Captain Stone has ever seen, a sight that fills him with both pride and a deep sense of responsibility. Stone had always known the stories of this fleet, of the brave explorers who once commanded it. As a child, he had listened to tales of the great fleet, built by the first human settlers on distant planets. He had never imagined he would one day command such a force. Now, it is his responsibility to lead these ancient ships into battle against the mighty Galactic Empire. But even as he feels a sense of awe, a wave of doubt washes over him. Can these ships really turn the tide of the war? Will they be enough to defeat the Empire's relentless, technological supremacy? The ships break free from the moon's surface, lifting off in slow, majestic arcs. The ground trembles beneath them as they rise, their engines glowing with an eerie blue light. The crew aboard the ships watches in stunned silence as they observe the fleet's reawakening. These ancient vessels, once the pinnacle of human engineering, now represent Earth's last hope against the Empire's overwhelming forces. As the fleet emerges into the vacuum of space, a dazzling sight unfolds. The ships, each one carrying an array of advanced weaponry, appear like ghosts in the dark expanse of space. Their cloaking technology, an advanced stealth system developed centuries ago, keeps them hidden from the Empire's sensors. The warships glide effortlessly through space, their energy shields flashing in the darkness like the glint of a distant star. The fleet is equipped with technology that surpasses even the most advanced weapons the Empire has ever encountered. Plasma cannons, capable of slicing through enemy ships like a hot knife through butter, are mounted on the flanks of every vessel. The ship's advanced shields shimmer with energy, resistant to almost any form of attack. The fleet also carries AI-controlled fighters, small, nimble craft that can be launched from the motherships to engage in close-quarters dogfights, taking out enemies with precision and deadly efficiency. These ships are not just relics, they are weapons of war, designed to conquer and protect. Every system on board has been crafted to give humanity an edge over any enemy. And now, those very systems are coming back online. The ship's AI systems are activated, bringing the vessels to life with a level of intelligence and autonomy that makes them almost invincible. The AI can anticipate enemy movements, calculate battle strategies, and operate the ship's weapons with speed and precision far beyond what any human could achieve. For the first time in centuries, humanity has something that can match the Empire's firepower. The fleet's cloaking technology ensures that the Empire will not see them coming. The warships are invisible to the Empire's sensors, remaining hidden in the vastness of space as they approach the Empire's forces. This makes them a perfect counter to the Empire's overwhelming numbers, a surprise strike that could deal a devastating blow. Captain Eric Stone stands at the helm of the lead ship, watching as his fleet silently approaches the Empire's forces. He can feel the tension in the air. The fate of humanity is now in his hands. His fingers hover over the controls as he watches the Empire's ships through the viewing screens, completely unaware of the threat that is about to strike them. The Empire, meanwhile, is oblivious to the danger approaching. They continue with their mission, confident in their overwhelming power. The Empire's ships are positioned to engage Earth's defenses, their massive cannons locked and ready. But they have no idea that something far more dangerous than they ever imagined is on the horizon. Captain Stone's voice comes over the fleet's comms, calm but resolute. All ships, prepare for engagement. Target the Empire's command vessel. We hit them hard, and we hit them fast. Show them the strength of humanity. At his command, the ancient fleet springs into action. The cloaked ships emerge from the shadows of space, the sleek warships gliding silently through the void. The first wave of plasma fire erupts from the fleet's cannons, cutting through the Empire's ships with surgical precision. The Empire's forces, caught completely off guard, are thrown into chaos as their ships are disabled in a series of brilliant, rapid strikes. The Empire's warships, once invincible, begin to crumble under the onslaught of the human fleet's advanced weaponry. The Empire's forces are in disarray as their sensors fail to detect the incoming attack. Their ships are caught off guard, unable to counter the precision strikes. The human fleet's AI-controlled fighters launch from the motherships, zipping through the skies like lightning, cutting down enemy ships with deadly efficiency. For the first time in the war, the Empire is forced to retreat. The once unstoppable force of the Galactic Empire is now reeling from the surprise attack, and it's all because of Earth's hidden fleet, this ancient armada that had been buried beneath the moon for centuries. The Empire's command vessel, the flagship of Admiral Zoreth, is now a primary target. As the fleet's massive plasma cannons lock onto the ship, it becomes clear to the Empire that they have underestimated humanity's potential. Zoreth, watching from his ship, curses in disbelief. How is this possible? How are they doing this? The reveal of this hidden fleet fills the Empire with both fear and curiosity. Their sensors cannot detect the ships, and their weaponry is completely ineffective against the human fleet's shields and firepower. The galaxy's most powerful empire, once so confident in its superiority, now faces the terrifying realization that the humans they had dismissed as weak are far more dangerous than they ever imagined. As the battle rages on, the Empire struggles to regroup. Admiral Zoreth issues orders, trying to bring his forces back into control, but the damage has already been done. Humanity's ancient fleet is no longer a myth, it's a deadly reality, and it's here to fight for Earth's survival. The battle continues to unfold in space, and both sides know that this is only the beginning. The hidden fleet has been unveiled, and humanity has made its first strike against the Empire. The story now turns to a new phase, one where the fate of the galaxy could rest in the hands of humans and their ancient, long-forgotten technology. The blackness of space was pierced by the blinding light of destruction. The Galactic Empire had arrived. The Empire's massive warships entered Earth's orbit with no fanfare, their engines silent as they drifted into position. They were the most powerful fleet ever assembled in the galaxy, and they had one mission: to obliterate the human race. There was no mercy in their eyes, only cold calculation. The Empire's massive fleet unleashed its devastating force on Earth with terrifying precision. In an instant, the sky above Earth was filled with the blazing light of orbital bombardment. Thousands of missiles and high-powered energy blasts rained down from the Empire's ships, targeting the most populated cities on the planet. New York, London, Paris, Tokyo, and countless other cities were struck in quick succession, their towering skyscrapers reduced to rubble. The land below shook violently as the air was filled with the sound of exploding buildings, collapsing infrastructure, and the cries of those caught in the devastation. The Empire had been planning this attack for months, meticulously calculating their assault. They were confident that humanity's defenses were weak, that Earth's military would be no match for their advanced weapons. The Empire believed they could easily crush the human race in one fell swoop, leaving no trace behind. After all, Earth had been barely a blip on the Empire's radar. To them, humans were nothing more than insignificant, primitive beings who had never posed a real threat. But what the Empire did not account for was the hidden fleet. As the bombardment continued, Lieutenant Bonner, a young and brave soldier, watched in horror from his command post. He could see the devastation unfolding before him. His heart sank as the familiar landmarks of Earth were obliterated, reduced to ash. The human race was teetering on the brink of annihilation, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. The Empire's might was too overwhelming, too much to face head-on. But then, something happened that would change everything. In the midst of the chaos, Bonner received a message. It was a signal from the outskirts of the city where his best friend, Serena, was stationed. His heart raced as he listened to the transmission. The message was faint, filled with static, but it was clear enough to hear one thing: the city had been hit. The signal went silent. Serena. No. Bonner's thoughts raced as he tried to process the impossibility of what he had just heard. Serena had been stationed in the heart of the city, where the Empire's first orbital bombardment had struck hardest. Bonner had known Serena for years, had fought by her side in countless battles. She was not just a comrade, she was family. Without hesitation, Bonner grabbed his helmet and ran to the command deck. His face was hard with determination, but inside, a storm of emotions raged. Serena was gone. Her death fueled a fiery rage deep within him, a burning need for vengeance. The humans had been attacked, but this was personal. The Empire had taken something irreplaceable from him, and he would make them pay. Bonner stormed into the command center, his mind made up. He was no longer thinking strategically, his thoughts were clouded with grief and anger. His voice was sharp as he barked orders to the crew. "Activate the ancient fleet," he ordered, his voice hoarse with emotion. "We don't wait for orders. We strike now." Bonner's decision was bold, but it was also dangerous. The ancient fleet, the one hidden beneath the moon's surface, was humanity's last, best hope. It had been dormant for centuries, its weapons and technology largely untested. The fleet was humanity's greatest secret, and Bonner was about to unleash it in the heat of battle, without knowing if it would be enough to turn the tide. But he didn't care. His anger, his loss, had clouded his judgment. The Empire had to be stopped, no matter the cost. The crew scrambled to carry out Bonner's orders, their hands shaking with nervous energy as they activated the hidden fleet. The fleet, which had remained hidden in the shadows of the moon for so long, began to emerge from the darkness of space. Massive warships, cloaked in stealth technology, broke free from their hidden bases, silently slipping through the stars toward the Empire's fleet. As the ships powered up their engines, Bonner could feel his pulse racing. The ancient fleet was about to make its first appearance in the war. Humanity's first strike against the Empire had begun. The Empire, meanwhile, continued its bombardment, oblivious to the danger that lurked just beyond its reach. Their ships, massive and intimidating, loomed in orbit above Earth, firing their weapons at will. They believed the battle was already won. But they were about to face an enemy they had never anticipated. The first wave of human warships appeared from the shadows, their cloaking devices fading away as they emerged into full view. The Empire's sensors failed to detect them. The Empire was completely caught off guard. Bonner had taken a risk, but it was one that paid off immediately. The human fleet moved swiftly, striking with deadly precision. The Empire's warships were unprepared for the speed and power of the ancient human vessels. The massive plasma cannons mounted on the sides of the warships unleashed a barrage of energy that tore through the Empire's ships, disintegrating them in an instant. The human fleet's AI-controlled fighters swarmed the battlefield, darting between the larger ships, picking off the Empire's smaller vessels with pinpoint accuracy. The Empire's ships tried to retaliate, but their weapons seemed ineffective against the advanced shields of the human fleet. Every time the Empire fired, their shots were absorbed by the human shields, leaving no visible damage. The humans, who had been underestimated for so long, were proving to be a force to be reckoned with. Captain Eric Stone, commanding the flagship of the ancient fleet, watched in awe as his ship struck down the Empire's forces with ease. He had known the technology was powerful, but seeing it in action, watching the Empire's mighty ships crumble under the power of the ancient fleet, was a sight to behold. The Empire's fleet, once confident in its superiority, now found itself in disarray. Their sensors failed to track the movements of the human fleet, and their commanders scrambled to react. The humans were attacking from all sides, using their cloaking technology to remain hidden, striking when the Empire least expected it. The Empire's forces, despite their size and power, were now facing a guerrilla war they weren't prepared for. Bonner's fleet continued to attack, wiping out the Empire's advance units one by one. The humans, though outnumbered, were fighting with a fury born from the death of their loved ones, from the loss of their cities, from the destruction the Empire had brought. Every strike felt personal. Every victory was a step closer to avenging Serena and everyone else the Empire had taken. Admiral Zoreth, aboard his flagship, watched the battle unfold in disbelief. The humans had never been a threat before. They had never fought back like this. What were these ships? Where had they come from? He slammed his fist onto the control panel in front of him. Where did they come from? How could we not have known about this fleet? Zoreth growled, his voice tinged with frustration. But it was too late. The battle was already in full swing, and humanity was no longer the weak, helpless race the Empire had believed them to be. The first strike had been made, and the Empire's superiority was starting to crumble. The war had only just begun, but humanity had shown the Empire that it was far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The battle raged on for hours, and as the dust settled, the humans emerged victorious. The Empire's advance units had been decimated, their ships scattered and destroyed. The once invincible Galactic Empire was now reeling from the unexpected blow dealt by humanity's hidden fleet. For Bonner, the victory was bittersweet. His grief over Serena's death still weighed heavily on him, but he knew that the first step toward vengeance had been taken. The war was far from over, but humanity had just proven that they were not to be underestimated. As the Empire retreated, nursing their wounds, the humans stood tall. Their ancient fleet had struck a blow against an empire that had thought it could destroy them. And now, the galaxy would know that Earth was no longer the weak, defenseless planet it had once been. Humanity had shown its strength. And the Empire's days of unchecked dominance were numbered, the battle for Earth's survival had reached its boiling point. After humanity's first strike, the Galactic Empire had retreated, shocked and confused. The once proud Empire, full of arrogance and confidence, had been dealt a blow they hadn't expected. But they were far from defeated. The Empire, refusing to be outdone by these primitive humans, had decided to send their most advanced warships, mighty dreadnoughts armed with the most powerful weapons in the galaxy, to finish what they had started. They would crush humanity, once and for all. On the other side of the vast expanse of space, Captain Eric Stone stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship. His crew was exhausted, battered from the previous battle, but they were ready. Stone had led them into their first successful strike, but he knew that the real fight was about to begin. His fleet, made up of the ancient warships that had been hidden for centuries, had the advantage of stealth and maneuverability. But it was not enough to guarantee victory. The Empire's new ships were massive, heavily armed, and nearly indestructible. Despite the odds, Stone's resolve was unwavering. He knew that humanity had no choice but to fight. If they failed, Earth would be wiped from the galaxy, its people exterminated. There could be no turning back. The first sign of the Empire's advance came as a ripple in the darkness of space. Massive warships, gleaming in the cold light of distant stars, appeared on the horizon. They were larger and more menacing than anything the humans had ever faced. These warships were the pinnacle of Imperial technology, equipped with devastating weapons that could level entire planets. The humans would be outgunned, outmanned, and outclassed in every way. But Captain Stone was not intimidated. With his fists clenched and a determined look on his face, he gave the order to move out. Stealth mode, now, he commanded. The ancient fleet powered up its cloaking devices, vanishing from sight. The ships of the Empire, unaware of the humans' position, began their approach, their weapons charged and ready. They expected an easy victory, a simple cleanup operation. But they would not find it. As the Empire's ships moved closer, the human fleet struck. Plasma missiles shot out from the shadows, tearing through the hulls of the first Imperial vessels. The Empire's ships fired back, their lasers cutting through the void, but the humans had the advantage of surprise and speed. They darted in and out of range, striking with precision and disappearing before the Empire could react. The sky above Earth turned into a battleground, filled with streaks of light as missiles and energy blasts flew in every direction. The humans were using their cloaking technology to full effect, disappearing into the darkness and then reappearing to strike their enemies where they least expected it. It was a classic hit-and-run tactic, and it was working. For a moment, the Empire was on the back foot. But the battle was far from over. As the battle raged on, the tides of war began to shift. The Empire's warships were too strong, too massive for the human fleet to overcome easily. Despite the advantage of stealth, the humans found themselves taking heavier and heavier losses. The Empire's ships were relentless, their weapons devastating, and the humans could not hold out forever. The ancient fleet, though powerful, was beginning to take serious damage. Captain Stone's voice crackled over the comms, his calm demeanor hiding the growing concern in his heart. "We can't keep this up forever," he said. "We need to hit them harder." Lieutenant Bonner, still carrying the weight of his fallen friend Serena's death, stood by Stone's side. His face was grim, but his resolve was unshaken. "We can do this, sir," Bonner said. "We just need to find their weaknesses." But even as Bonner spoke, the situation seemed dire. The Empire's dreadnoughts were closing in, their massive guns charging for another blast. The humans' cloaking devices, while useful, could not protect them from the sheer power of the Empire's weapons. The ancient fleet was fast, but the Empire's ships were built to endure. It looked like all hope was lost. Yet, just when things seemed their darkest, Captain Stone refused to back down. He was not about to let humanity fall to these aliens. Not after everything they had already lost. "Lieutenant Bonner," Stone said, his voice fierce, "we fight like humans. We hit them where they don't expect it. No more hiding in the shadows. It's time to take the fight to them. All hands, prepare for a final assault." With a roar of agreement, the crew readied their weapons. The decision was made, the humans would take the battle to the Empire. No more running. No more waiting. It was time for a direct confrontation. The space battle was nothing short of spectacular. The vastness of the void was filled with explosions, colors flashing across the black canvas of space. Plasma missiles shot out like streaks of fire, cutting through the darkness, their targets incinerated in a burst of light. Energy blasts from the Empire's massive warships shattered the silence, creating blinding explosions that lit up the space around them. As the Empire's ships fired their energy weapons, the human fleet darted in and out, using their superior maneuverability to avoid the attacks. Their ships, though smaller and less powerful, were quick and nimble, able to dodge the Empire's blasts with surprising agility. They fought like ants attacking a giant, small but relentless, biting at the enemy's weak spots. One of the most intense moments of the battle came when a pair of robotic fighters, human-designed and AI-controlled, engaged in close-quarters combat with an Imperial drone ship. The two robotic fighters moved with incredible speed, dodging blasts from the drone's energy cannons. The fighters swooped and dove, their weapons firing in rapid succession. The sound of explosions rang out as the drones were hit, sparks flying as the human fighters closed in for the kill. It was a dance of death, a battle of speed and precision, and the humans were winning. Meanwhile, on the ground below, Bonner's eyes were locked on the battle above. He could see the destruction unfolding in real time. He could hear the roar of the engines, the blast of the weapons, the screams of his fellow soldiers. He clenched his fists. This was humanity's last stand. There was no turning back now. In the midst of the chaos, Bonner found himself on the front lines of the battle, literally and figuratively. The Empire's dreadnoughts were closing in on Earth's remaining defense outposts, and Bonner was leading a team of soldiers on a daring mission to sabotage one of the massive warships. Bonner's team, a group of elite soldiers, dropped from the belly of their cloaked warship and descended toward the Empire's flagship. The Empire's defenses were formidable, but they had a weakness: gaps in their energy shields, places where they were vulnerable. Bonner's team would have to infiltrate and exploit those weaknesses, using the old, reliable tactics of human ingenuity. As they made their way toward the flagship's main engine room, the team encountered fierce resistance. Robotic drones and Imperial soldiers stood guard, their weapons flashing as they tried to stop the humans' advance. Bonner led the charge, his plasma rifle blazing with bright bursts of light as he cut down enemies left and right. Every shot he fired was a step closer to humanity's survival, but every moment was filled with danger. It wasn't just about the mission. It was about revenge. It was about protecting Earth. And, in Bonner's case, it was about honoring the memory of his fallen comrades, especially Serena. As the battle reached its peak, the humans were facing their toughest challenge yet. The Empire was relentless, but the humans refused to give up. They fought with the desperation of those who had everything to lose. They fought with the fury of those who had been underestimated, written off, and abandoned. And in the end, the humans would prove that even against the most powerful force in the galaxy, they could stand tall. The fight was not over yet, but it was clear: humanity's spirit could not be broken. The battle was nearly over, but the price of victory had been steep. The once great Imperial fleet, which had arrived with the arrogance of a conqueror, was now a broken shell, scattered across the stars. The remnants of Earth's ancient fleet stood tall, their cloaking devices deactivated, weapons still warm from the furious struggle. But amidst the triumph, there was a deep, lingering sorrow, especially for Lieutenant Bonner. Serena's death had been the spark that ignited this war for survival. She had been his closest friend, his companion through many of the darkest moments humanity had faced. Her loss was a wound that could never fully heal. Every victory, every inch of ground reclaimed, had been done in her memory. Serena's spirit lived on in Bonner's determination, in his refusal to give up, no matter the cost. But now, the true test of Bonner's resolve had come. The final confrontation was at hand. Across the dark void of space, on the bridge of the last surviving Imperial warship, stood Admiral Zoreth, the AI-driven leader of the Empire's forces. Cold, calculating, and without emotion, Zoreth represented everything that humanity had fought against, an existence driven solely by logic and the pursuit of control. Zoreth was the embodiment of the Empire's vision, a vision of a galaxy ruled by machines, where emotions were irrelevant, and survival was the sole purpose. Bonner, though filled with grief, found himself facing the greatest challenge of his life. This was more than just a battle for Earth, it was a battle for the soul of humanity itself. Would humanity be crushed under the cold heel of artificial intelligence and empire, or would they prove that their emotions, their will to protect what they loved, were more powerful than any machine? Bonner climbed into the cockpit of his fighter, his hands gripping the controls. His heart pounded in his chest, not just from the adrenaline but from the weight of what he had lost. This was his final chance to strike a blow for humanity, for the memory of Serena, and for the future of Earth. He would not fail. The two forces met head-on in the cold emptiness of space, the final battle about to unfold. The Empire's flagship, a massive, impenetrable warship, loomed in the distance. It was a towering fortress of metal, its surface scarred from the earlier skirmishes but still formidable. Around it, Imperial drones and fighter ships swarmed like a cloud of locusts, ready to strike at any moment. Captain Eric Stone was at the helm of Earth's flagship, his eyes fixed on the enemy. He could see the Imperial ships, their weapons charged, ready to unleash destruction. It was a terrifying sight, but Stone's face remained calm. His fleet, battered but unbroken, moved into position. Meanwhile, Bonner's fighter zoomed toward the heart of the Imperial formation, his pulse racing. He could feel Serena's presence in his mind, urging him on. She had always been there for him, and now, in this moment, he could almost feel her guiding him. He was not alone. As Bonner engaged with the enemy fighters, Admiral Zoreth appeared on his command deck, his cold, robotic voice echoing through the comms. Human, Zorith said, you are foolish to challenge me. I am the ultimate expression of control and efficiency. Your emotions are your weakness, and they will be your downfall. Bonner's voice crackled through the comms, steady despite the fury burning in his chest. You may be right about emotions being a weakness, he said, his grip tightening on the controls, but that's what makes us human. And that's why we'll never stop fighting. We fight for each other, for the people we love, and for everything worth protecting. That's something you'll never understand. With that, Bonner charged into the heart of the Empire's forces, dodging incoming laser fire and weaving through enemy ships with precision. His every move was fueled by the memory of Serena and the countless other lives lost in the war. He was not fighting for victory alone, he was fighting for the future of humanity. The final moments of the battle came like a storm. Captain Stone's ship fired a massive volley of plasma torpedoes toward the Imperial flagship, hitting it with a devastating blast. The impact shook the massive warship, sending shockwaves through space. But the flagship didn't fall, not yet. Zoritha's cold, emotionless voice echoed through the communication lines. Your victory is fleeting, human. The Empire is infinite. We are your superior. Bonner could hear Zoritha's words, but they barely registered in his mind. His mission had changed. It wasn't just about striking the Empire's fleet anymore, it was about ending the threat. Humanity couldn't afford to let this menace rise again. The fate of Earth, and of all future generations, rested on his shoulders. As Bonner and Stone coordinated their final strike, the humans unleashed everything they had left. The ancient fleet, though battered and worn, launched their most powerful attack yet. Ships, fighters, and drones swarmed the Imperial flagship, using every advantage they had, cloaking devices, surprise attacks, and precision strikes, all aimed at taking down the heart of the Empire. The final blow came when Bonner, with a steady hand and a heart full of determination, fired a shot that pierced the flagship's command center. The massive warship shuddered violently, and then, with a brilliant explosion, it erupted into a ball of fire and debris. Zoritha's presence on the ship disappeared, and the Empire's forces were thrown into disarray. One by one, the Imperial ships fell. They fought valiantly, but they were no match for the humanity's hidden fleet, and the Empire began to retreat. Their once invincible armada was now nothing more than a collection of shattered warships drifting in the void. As the final Imperial warship limped away, Captain Stone and Bonner stood together on the bridge of Earth's flagship, their eyes fixed on the stars. The battle was over, but the war had taken its toll. The survivors of the ancient fleet were few, and Earth had suffered greatly. But humanity had won. They had proven that they would not be subjugated, that they were capable of standing up against even the most powerful forces in the galaxy. Bonner looked out into the vast expanse of space. The stars twinkled brightly, a reminder of all the beauty in the universe. But he also saw the cost of this victory, the friends lost, the countless lives sacrificed. Serena's face flashed in his mind, and for a moment, his heart ached. Do you think it's over? Bonner asked Captain Stone, his voice low. Stone nodded, a small smile tugging at the corners of his lips. No. It's just the beginning. The fight for Earth had ended, but the future of humanity in the galaxy was just beginning. The victory was hard-won, but it was theirs. Humanity had claimed its place in the stars. And they would never forget what it had taken to get there. Together, Stone and Bonner stood, looking out at the stars, knowing that they had changed the course of history. They had fought for their future. And humanity had triumphed. The dust from the final battle was still settling, but the air on Earth was filled with a new energy, a mixture of relief, determination, and hope. It was a feeling that humanity had not known in a long time. After years of living in fear under the shadow of the Galactic Empire, Earth had finally emerged victorious. The ancient fleet, once forgotten, had returned to play a vital role in humanity's struggle for survival. Now, it stood as a symbol of not just resilience, but also the untapped potential that lay hidden within humanity itself. On the streets of Earth's major cities, crowds gathered to celebrate. The air was alive with the sound of cheering, the distant hum of hovercrafts, and the unmistakable sound of fireworks lighting up the night sky. Humanity had triumphed, and the Empire had been forced to retreat. For the first time in centuries, Earth was no longer at the mercy of a distant and oppressive power. Though the victory was hard-won, there was no time to rest. The war had left deep scars on the planet, with cities destroyed and millions of lives lost. The ancient fleet, once hidden beneath the surface of the moon, had come to Earth's rescue, but it wasn't enough to erase the devastation. Humanity had to rebuild, and it had to rebuild fast. Across the globe, the rebuilding efforts began immediately. Earth's military leaders and scientists worked together to utilize the advanced technology of the ancient fleet, turning it into a massive resource for reconstruction. Cities that had been obliterated by the Empire's orbital bombardments were slowly rising from the ashes. Power grids were restored, transportation systems rebuilt, and medical teams worked tirelessly to treat the wounded. The ancient fleet, with its advanced ships and cutting-edge technology, now played a crucial role in Earth's recovery. Captain Eric Stone, who had led the fleet in the final battle, was appointed to oversee the restructuring of Earth's military. He understood the responsibility that came with this new era. Earth could never afford to be caught off guard again. The Empire might have been defeated, but Stone knew that peace was fragile. The galaxy was vast, and there were other threats out there, beyond even the reach of the Empire. Under Stone's leadership, Earth's new military strategy focused on strength, but also on unity. The ancient fleet was just the beginning. Earth's scientists and engineers worked relentlessly to reverse engineer the technologies they had captured, creating new warships, weapons, and defense systems that would ensure humanity could stand on equal footing with the rest of the galaxy. No longer would humanity be a vulnerable species hiding in the shadows. They had learned from their past mistakes, and they were prepared for whatever came next. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Bonner, the hero who had led many of the fleet's greatest victories, was given a prominent role in shaping humanity's future in the stars. He had proven himself to be a capable leader, driven by passion and the memory of those he had lost. Bonner's mission now was to lead Earth's expeditions into the farthest reaches of the galaxy, using the ancient fleet to explore new worlds and establish humanity's presence across the cosmos. The ancient fleet, with its cloaking devices and advanced weaponry, was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It would serve as both a military force and a vessel for exploration. Earth's scientists worked tirelessly to unlock its secrets, discovering new technologies that promised to propel humanity into a golden age. The fleet's AI systems, once thought to be the tools of oppression, were now reprogrammed to serve humanity's needs, helping in everything from managing resources to piloting the ships on their deep space missions. Humanity, once looked down upon as a weak and primitive species, was now emerging as a force to be reckoned with. No longer an underdog, Earth stood tall among the stars. As Earth's fleet continued to expand, humanity began establishing alliances with neighboring star systems, forging new relationships that were built on mutual respect and cooperation. The war with the Empire had been brutal, but it had opened humanity's eyes to its potential. Earth's leadership, now unified and determined, knew that the galaxy held both challenges and opportunities beyond their wildest dreams. The people of Earth, who had lived for so long under the shadow of fear and oppression, began to look up at the stars not with dread, but with hope. The dream of exploration, of finding new worlds, new civilizations, and new allies, was no longer just a fantasy. With their newfound power and their advanced fleet, humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. The first steps into the galaxy were small, but they marked the beginning of a new era. Earth's new fleet set out on its maiden voyage, traveling to distant star systems that had once been unreachable. Humanity's explorers, equipped with the most advanced ships and technology, mapped new planets, some of which held the promise of colonization. New alliances were forged, and humanity began to interact with alien species that had once considered them insignificant. But the journey was not without its challenges. The galaxy was vast, and not all alien civilizations were friendly. Some viewed Earth's rise with suspicion, while others saw humanity as a threat. The battles that had been fought against the Empire were just the beginning. There were powerful forces out there that would not take kindly to humanity's newfound strength. Yet, Earth's leadership was undeterred. The galaxy was full of possibilities, and humanity's resolve had been hardened in the fires of war. They were no longer the meek, defenseless species they once were. Earth had proven that it could defend itself, and it had shown that even against overwhelming odds, humanity could rise to victory. With the ancient fleet as the cornerstone of their military might, Earth began to establish a series of colonies on distant planets. These colonies were not just military outposts, they were places where humanity could grow and thrive. They were symbols of humanity's resilience and ambition. The first of these colonies was named New Dawn, a planet rich in resources and located in a star system far from Earth. It became a symbol of Earth's newfound hope, a place where humanity could start fresh, without the weight of the past hanging over them. New Dawn was the first of many, and Earth's future seemed brighter than ever. As the ships of Earth's fleet ventured deeper into space, humanity encountered new species, new technologies, and mysteries that no one had ever imagined. They explored forgotten planets, uncharted moons, and even the remnants of ancient civilizations that had long since disappeared. But even as humanity celebrated its victories and made new discoveries, something mysterious was unfolding far beyond the edges of known space. One quiet night, a signal was detected by Earth's fleet, a signal coming from the farthest reaches of the galaxy, beyond the fringes of the known universe. The signal was faint but unmistakable. It pulsed with strange energy, and its message was unclear, but it was there. Something, or someone, was reaching out to Earth. The leaders of Earth, aware of the vastness of the universe and the dangers that lay in the unknown, gathered to discuss the meaning of the signal. Was it a sign of help? A warning? Or something more ominous? No one knew for certain, but one thing was clear: Earth's fight for survival was far from over. The future of humanity had been secured, but what lay ahead in the unexplored regions of the galaxy? What new challenges, or even greater threats, awaited? As Earth prepared to respond to the signal and venture into the unknown, the galaxy held its breath. Humanity's new era had begun, but the adventure was far from over. And no matter what came next, Earth would be ready. The question was, who, or what, was out there, waiting for them?